talk to you about my vegetable powders and how I find them very handy in my cooking. I find them very useful, and they give your food way much more flavor than any seasoning you would find on the shelf at the grocery store. Tomato powder is good for long-term use, and adding it to recipes that ask for tomato paste, tomato sauce, or tomato juice. And depending on how much water you put with tomato powder can make those three things. So if you take 6 tablespoons of tomato powder and add it with a half a cup of water, you can get 1 6-ounce can of paste. And for tomato sauce, you take 2/3 cup of tomato powder with 2 cups of water, and that will equal 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And for 64 ounces of juice, you would add 1 cup of powder to 8 cups of water. I love adding the vegetable powders because there's no additives, no preservatives. This eliminates the need to buy multiple products from the store. It saves you money in that way, and it's healthier to cook from scratch. You get more nutrition in your cooking because it's been processed less, and you can easily make soups from this. You can make spaghetti sauce from a dry mix using this, and barbecue sauce. You can make a Creole rice and beans with this. You can make kitchen chimichurri. You can make a tomato and basil hummus. I mean, the sky's the limit with tomato powder. Sweet potato powder. I love using this for an instant mashed potatoes. You just hydrate it with maybe a half a cup of potato powder to a cup of boiling water. Add maybe a teaspoon of cinnamon, maybe 2 tablespoons of butter, and maybe a tablespoon or 2 of brown sugar, and you got an instant quick carbohydrate. And I've also planned to use this in biscuits. Just hydrate it like you would to have a sweet potato mash on hand, and add that to biscuits. I also have used this in my pancakes, and my husband says I need to back off on my flour ratio to milk and egg because they tend out to be a little dry. But I also plan to make a souffle out of this and see where that goes. Possibilities are endless when you have this stuff in your pantry. Spinach powder. Well, you can add this to soups, and you can do dips with this. You've seen me put them in my eggs already. Casseroles. Anything that you want a high nutrition in your food to give to your kids, spinach powder is the way to go. I've even put it in my hamburgers and fries casserole for my guests. They had no clue they were eating it until after I told one of them when we were washing dishes. Celery powder. I love the flavor of celery in all my cooking. This is my go-to for when I make chicken salad, and I use anything. Like I put it in my meatloaf last night. I put it in my soups. Anything I'm cooking that I need a lot of flavor in, celery powder. I'm telling you, I don't know why they don't sell this at the grocery store. You can make a can of cream of celery easily without having to buy it from the store. Just make a roux and some celery powder, chicken stock. Just blend it, or you can just put it in the Vitamix for 4 minutes. Instant soup base. Pumpkin powder. I love pumpkin powder. I will never can pumpkin again because you have so much you get into a jar. And when you open the jar, you have to drain it for a couple hours before you can even use it and turn it into a puree, because you can't can pumpkin puree safely. So you have to drain the chunks, then beat it up. Pumpkin puree is instant. A quarter cup of this powder equals 2 cups of pumpkin puree if you add boiling water to it. It makes it so much easier to get what I need to make a pie or make pumpkin roll, and no one knows the difference when I've served at Thanksgiving. I've also made pumpkin souffles with this. Having pumpkin powder in my pantry made it really cheap and effective to entertain with when I made pumpkin spice lattes for a group of friends that came over, and they loved them. I also served sourdough coffee cake that day. I just love how there's no waste with powder. If I open up a jar of pumpkin or from pumpkin puree from the store, I always have so much left over, and somehow I never get to use it before it molds. This way I use what I need and let the rest in the jar. And it's easy to just buy at pumpkins after Halloween when they're like 50 cents a piece at a roadside stand, versus just buying a can of pumpkin that's like $2 or $3 now. Really, really cheap there. That's just one of the few ways I'm very frugal with my pantry here. So this is basically what I have on hand for powders. I do have red beets that I can turn into powder. You can turn red beets powder into pastas, soups, pancakes, cakes, juice, and put it in hummus. And I think you can add it to barbecue sauce and no one will know the difference, because it will give that nice red color to it. So I hope this little video shows you the possibilities of vegetable powders. And if you grow them in your garden, you can grow them organically, and you know how it got there into your powders and your food. And I think it's worth the time to just throw them in the dehydrator and go to town. And also you can make pastas with tomato powder and spinach if you want a tricolor. In a future video, I'll show you how to do that. Well, thanks for your time, and hope to see you soon.